Some people say I should drop out of this race. Really? I'm the only one saying Donald Trump is a liar. He pits Americans against each other. His Christmas message to anyone who disagrees with him, rotten hell. He caused a riot on Capitol Hill. He'll burn America to the ground to help himself. Every Republican leader says that in private. I'm the only one saying it in public. What kind of president do we want? A liar or someone who's got the guts to tell the truth? New Hampshire, it's up to you.
So that is Chris Christie making his big appeal in New Hampshire. This is a 7-figure ad campaign. That ad is debuting today in New Hampshire. He really needs to outperform in New Hampshire, one would assume, to maintain his candidacy. And you can see that as of relatively recent polling, he was at about 13% in New Hampshire. We'll see how he ends up doing. He previously told the Messenger earlier this month that he has for New Hampshire and Iowa voting thresholds that he needs to at least match to continue. Now, he will not say what those are, but he does say that that's for me to know. And believe me, you'll see me react to it. It's not like you don't know what I'll do. In 2016, I didn't get to the number I wanted to, and I dropped out the next day. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I feel it when I'm out there interacting with voters. I think that Chris Christie, for his newfound willingness to criticize Donald Trump in very clear terms, is at least in that way the best of all the Republicans, but he's also completely playing himself if he believes that the Republican Party base is going to choose him. They're simply not going to. It could have happened, but there's been no movement seemingly over the last year. They don't want someone who's attacking Donald Trump. Very clearly, very few of them want that at the very least. So I don't know that he's going to be around for much longer. And Ida, I have a question for you. If he wants Trump to be beaten, and it seems fairly clear that he's not going to be the one to do it, should he drop out and try to get his supporters to move over to like Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley, who we've been talking a lot about? What do you think?
I want them to fail, so I won't even suggest anything for them to win. But I will say this: if he was really gangster, he wouldn't have said Donald Trump caused a riot on Capitol Hill. He would have said he was part of an insurrection that tried to overthrow the government of the United States. That's the gangster, not he caused a riot at that. They caused a riot at inter-university here when their team lost. What happened at Capitol Hill was officers lost their lives. People were beaten and a woman died, and they tried to overthrow the government. And Donald Trump sent them up there and then took a ride home and let them go ahead and cause all this damage and try to overthrow the government. They were trying to kill Nancy Pelosi. They tried to do major damage and overthrow our government. And you want to call it a little riot? You're not as gangster as we thought, as you think you are. And why won't you talk about you're not a punk anymore because Donald Trump did punk you? Why don't you talk about that? That would make me say, okay, now he's really coming through. But he's not. He's not. What he is he's talking to the people that he thinks will listen, and they don't respect him because he won't even address how Donald Trump treated him. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes people not respect him, because there was a moment where he was licking his boots, right?
There was several years of moments of him licking his boots. And look, I prefer that someone eventually turn away from that. I just would respect it more if it had happened way earlier than it did. But that said, yeah, he is pulling his punches in the way that you're saying. But also like that there are some Republicans who don't want Trump. Clearly, he's at 13%. Nikki Haley's getting some support. That just is not the majority of the party. And I don't know how you get it to be the majority of the party. Clearly, they need to work on their base, but they haven't been willing to do that, because to do that, you'd have to criticize Trump. And there's only been a few people occasionally who've been willing to do that. If you wanted to turn the party around, all of them needed to be doing this for years, and they're not willing to do that. So I don't know how they recover their party at this point. I'll give final thoughts.
Yeah, also saying, the reason I'm harping on the term he caused a riot is because he doesn't want to upset the people who supported that, right? Yeah. He doesn't want to upset, because if he uses the language that is the correct language to use for what happened on January 6th, he would upset the people who were in support of it because they hate our government. And so that's why I'm saying it's not even if you were opposed to this and you're looking for those people, then you would be direct about what is happening so that you can be a part of waking up that sector of the country that needs the awakening to try to preserve our democracy. But that's not what he's doing. So why should we trust him and why should we even respect him?
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.